Welcome to episode 3 of the Glenn Hallam podcast. It is a pleasure to have you along and actually listening to me, considering this is show 3. Thank you for all the messages that I've had. It's been so nice reading them. Even one person said that I had a really nice voice. I doubt very much if I'm going to be the voiceover man, but we're giving it the best shot. For my first guest, yes, we have a guest this evening, and my first guest is no stranger to doing those types of gigs. And he's travelled many, many miles across the roads of the UK and done exactly that type of gigs. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you Dave Stairez.
Hello.
How's it going? Right. I'm good, yeah.
I'm all right, fine.
Good. I mean, how's things? I mean, we're in a pandemic. I don't want to dwell on that too much, but how are things?
Well, it has a knock-on effect to everyone, doesn't it? We're all in these little rooms doing these videos of one way or the other. You've right. chose podcasts. I've chose to do a Saturday night show. And it seems the whole world has gone to video, really.
My first introduction to Elvis Presley, say, was the 40 Greatest Hits.
Well, I just so happened, without any prompting whatsoever.
Mine's in the house. That's the album.
See that? That is an original 70s one as well. It's not a repro. My daughter's got a repro, and it was... As I said to you, that was a religious experience to me because I bought that secondhand from a jumble sale from a Methodist church when I was about 10 years old, I suppose. So it would have been 77, and when we hadn't got him for very long, he was gone in the August. And it's I think I spent 50 pence on that, which was a fortune in them days. You could get free bags of chips for that,
Oh yeah, on a Friday. They still queue up my local chip shop on a Friday. I'm glad that some traditions have still kept on going. I mean, for me, that album, I don't know where my music taste was going, and I'm sure that you didn't either. But there was something about hearing Hound Dog, and my story is that album was left on the side with the record player as it was in the 70s. Now, like we said, we are actually the same age for people listening. So when I was at school, we'd have 6 weeks off for our holidays, as they do now. I think it's actually 7, if I remember rightly. And of course, our parents used to go to work and leave us in the house. You wouldn't think of doing that now. And I didn't have the games, and you were saying there, I didn't have the video games or anything else, the internet to sit there surfing on my phone. So what was the nearest thing? It was the record player. And that was the album that just, wow, I heard what that was going on. And I thought it was the most incredible thing I'd ever actually heard. It was great.
We should point out at this time that our age is 35 to anyone watching.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. If you are wondering, years of age are different in the UK. If you're out, by the way, it's a bit like the road miles and the time zones. Yeah, because we cannot gig, and because of the way that things are through this pandemic, obviously, like you said at the beginning, we're all finding new ways of performing, whether it's doing podcasts like you said or doing a Saturday night show on Facebook, and that's what you're referring to. So now you chose to I can't go out and gig because you usually you've been gigging in bands, and we'll come to one of the bands that I want to talk to you about, but you've been gigging in bands and you went solo, and you are usually on a Saturday night or whenever it might take you, you're doing a solo gig. Right. So when the pandemic, when they turned around and they said, we cannot do this, and the venue started shutting, you decided to take it up onto Facebook Live, and then you performed.
There's a lot of local bands that sort of done, but you don't want to be the one that people forget, do you? So I did this to keep my face out there and for people to go, Dave took the time to, go out of his way to put this show on. And entertain us. We can't go out. We can't go out for a dance. And people are telling me that they're dancing in their living rooms and their kitchens, which is great.
Or in your garden, Dave. Or in your garden. That's what I did. Just for the listener, I found out Dave was doing these live Facebook events, and I decided we were doing a barbecue in our garden one night, and I find Dave singing on my phone. So what did we do? We put the phone on there. We put it through Alexa so you can hear it out loud, and we're all dancing to the barbecue. So, you're widening your audience. It is.
And it's to help me as well. People have gone on about mental health and things like that. I don't like to go on too much about that sort of thing.
But it's a thing, Dave.
A mental thing.
It is.
I love doing that on a Saturday, and a lot of the times I go on too long. And I'm having to find myself going, oh, let's stop there because I'm going to get in trouble. It's but until people stop watching, and a lot of them, oh, you're not going. It's but each time, there's lots of comments, how much people love it, and that's what you do it for, really.
It is, and that's, I guess my point is that where, I mentioned at the beginning of when I decided to start doing these podcasts is that, there are people like yourself that people, and don't be offended by this, that probably haven't heard of. There's plenty of people like me that people haven't heard of, but working quite hard, and you have your own fan base that enjoy coming to your shows when you're playing, and they're online and they're supporting you in that way, and that's why we need music. I think that's amazing.
It is nice that people do support you. That my gigs, it's the same sort of people, but it's then the person that just walks in on the off chance and goes, oh, that was good, when's your next one? Can I come?
And that's how you build it.
And it all builds up,
That's how you build it.
I wanted to go to Camden because I wanted to buy a pair of boots that I'd see. And the guy had said to me, they're in a shop in Camden. They got Teddy Boy stuff. They got rockabilly stuff. And in those days, if you were a rockabilly, you had a pair of jeans on and a checked shirt. That was your difference from being a Teddy Boy, So I went to Camden.
Gonna get changed.
Yes, check shirt. There you go. I went to Camden. I came off the tube, and automatically there you've got the big market. I went and kitted myself out around the market, found this shop, did the boots, and there was two guys busking, one on double bass, one on guitar, and I stood there, dancing away and singing along with them, and I went up off the cuff and sang with them, and things went from there. And as I've mentioned to you before, I wanted to be a drummer, and I'd see this guy on the telly who was standing up playing the drums. I thought, how amazing is that? And I can show you the guy if you like, because he's on there.
Please do.
Can we see that?
I've never heard of him.
Rock this down. And there he is with his stand-up drum and cymbal. So I spoke to these guys and they said, would you like to sing for us? Because if they thought it was fantastic. But we don't want to be more than a free piece because of the money side of things.
Sure.
And I just happened to pick this. In Daventry, the tip used to be just an area where people backed in, chucked the stuff in before it was all fenced off, things like that. And you could go and rummage through it. And there's one day I'll see this glint of silver, and it's a Kestrel steel snare drum. I don't know if you're familiar with the Kestrel steel snare.
No, I don't. I'm not.
It was probably one of the really cheap, nasty ones that you get from the catalogue or something.
It's all about what it sounds like.
And there was an Ajax cymbal.
Wow.
Which I found. I went to the music shop in Daventry and I ordered a pair of drumsticks because they don't have drumsticks on the shelf in them days. You had to order them. He went out the back really and probably whittled a broom handle into a pair of drumsticks for me.
Let's just start that now. They'd make a fortune. Handmade drumsticks. Somebody should. These stick companies listening. Where can we find you on a Saturday night on the live feed? Do you have your own page?
Yep, it's on the Dave Dynamite Rock and Roll Party page.
Okay.
It's called Dave Dynamite Rock and Roll Party. And that's on Facebook, so anyone can go along there, pop along, give us a like or tick to follow, and you'll get your notifications when they come up. So I normally advertise the gigs a couple of days before, if not on the day, because people tend You send them an invitation, they put it to one side, and then they forget.
Yeah, of course.
And you'll get them coming in halfway through going, we forgot you were on. So I normally tend to sort of put the notification up the day before and a couple of hours before. Most
Fantastic.
days. I didn't this week.
Well, there's a lot going.
Time just went like that Saturday, and I'm lost.
All our days go into one at the minute, right? What about recorded music? Where can we hear you? Is there anywhere?
Well, there is. You can go on to YouTube. There is some tracks on there. If you go
amazing.
If you put in Dave Dynamite, there's a few of my own songs which I've written, which we wrote. Well, I've got a book like this of probably 1,500 songs that I've wrote over the years, but only managed to probably record probably of them.
And that'd be amazing to hear. With that, that's probably a subject for another podcast, actually, because if you've got so many written songs, I know you used to talk to Paul about him recording some songs for you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It goes back to your beginning, because there was a brief point where I did do a purely Elvis act. But I always used to say before I went on, I'm not Elvis Presley. I'm not trying to be Elvis Presley. I'm just trying to relate his music to you. And then you put this silly jumpsuit on and go, no, you're not trying to be Elvis Presley.
I know.
And there is some of those tracks on there. There's some of the Elvis tracks. There's some Johnny Cash on that I've covered.
Fantastic. And we haven't even talked about those artists. Wow. Everybody, please check out Dave Dynamite, because I think you're likely to find him. Please check out his Facebook page. And I promise you faithfully, you won't be disappointed with his act on a Saturday night if he is doing it live. And I know it's a bit cold for us here at the minute and we're not having any barbecues, but if you get the chance and he's still doing it in the summer, do what I did. Put it on the table, put it through your Alexa or your Bluetooth speaker and have it cranking up so the neighbours can hear it, because you won't be disappointed.
Thank you very much. Very nice,
Dave. I honestly, I can't thank you enough for coming on my little podcast. I hopefully many people will listen to it. It has been a pleasure having you along, and it's good that we've got to hang out as well, even though it is in a virtual state, unfortunately. But you know, and we got to talk to each other, which is what I said to you the other night. I actually love the fact of that. So thank you everybody for listening. Enjoy yourself. Please keep safe, especially around the world the way it is now. And we will see you next time with hopefully another exciting guest. And so once again, Dave, thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon. Much. All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Jitterbop, jitterbop, we're gonna rock a jitterbop, 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 we're gonna rock and she's a jitterbop, baby.